particular Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It.
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Gays, and they're gays and lesbians and bisexuals in hip hop. Because not all of them are gay. Some of them do like women, but they get freaky.
That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties. They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. What you talking about? Look, if you're into that, I'm fine with it. To get you on. I'm just saying this ain't my motherfucking kind of party.
I'm saying so, 50, I'm coming for your ass, bruh.
He dropped a bomb on the entire industry, and this time, it's not just rumors. It's names, faces, and footage. In the shocking video he just leaked, we see none other than Diddy, his alleged trans ex, and yes, Busta Rhymes himself, all front and center. And Busta, he's looking like he's running the whole show. This goes way beyond Diddy's so-called secret parties. Busta Rhymes has now been exposed as one of the main hosts. But here's where it gets even crazier. Insiders are claiming Busta wasn't just throwing the events. He was allegedly sharing his young male fans with Diddy behind the scenes. Let that sink in. And the plot thickens because Tony Newman, a former trans escort, has come forward and is naming names. And she's not just pointing the finger at Diddy, she's calling out Mr. CLL Cool J, and more. According to Tony, the stories behind the scenes involve underground freak-offs, secret industry deals, and powerful cover-ups. And guess who's fanning the flames? 50 Cent. He's not backing down. He's leaking receipts, dropping hints, and teasing that a lot more is coming in his explosive upcoming documentary. Did he do it? The footage, the confessions, the witness accounts, it's all starting to piece together, and let's just say, Busta Rhymes is looking real uncomfortable in the background. So what's actually in the video? Well, according to insiders, it was taken during one of those infamous freak-off style parties. In the clip, you see Diddy, his alleged trans ex, and Busta all in the same room. But this wasn't just a party. It felt more like a production, and the wildest part, sources say this is only the beginning. 50's been sitting on a mountain of content, and he's finally ready to unload. Now it finally makes sense why 50 Cent has always distanced himself from Diddy's parties. Let me know if you want it to sound more casual, humorous, or intense. I can adjust it further.
That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties. They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. What you talking about? Look, if you're into that, I'm fine with it. To get you on. I'm just saying this ain't my motherfucking kind of party.
He used to crack jokes about the fruity energy in the industry, side-eye those strange after-party invites, and throw shade at Diddy's suspiciously close industry friendships. At the time, people laughed it off. Just 50 being petty. But now, the leaks are finally catching up to the jokes, and suddenly, it doesn't seem so funny anymore. And don't think Busta Rhymes got a pass. Because while 50 was trolling Diddy, he was clowning Busta too, relentlessly. From Busta's tight leather fits, to the over-the-top thirst trap gym selfies, to that intense touch-it, bring-it energy that always felt a little extra, 50 Cent was dropping shade left and right. Back then, everyone thought he was just messing around. But now that footage is starting to surface. It's clear, 50 might have known the truth this entire time.
But 50 also know I'm not gonna stop. The same way he not gonna stop, I'm not gonna stop. We both come from a family called Violator family. So we ain't got no problem violating.
When Busta tried to brush it off as just friendly banter, most folks let it slide. But now, that moment where he said he was coming for 50 is hitting different. People are starting to wonder, did he actually mean it? And to really understand this, we need to bring in Tony Newman for a second.
It's announced about two people who me and my female escort friend, Mistress Carmen, saw as a team. I work with the female, an Asian girl.
Tony Newman, a former transgender escort, author, and outspoken activist, has been calling out the dark side of the entertainment industry for years. And now, she's saying some of the biggest names in hip-hop have been living double lives, and doing everything they can to keep it under wraps. According to Tony, multiple insiders, including former Bad Boy employees, have confirmed the whispers. Diddy has allegedly been involved with both women and men behind the scenes. And it's not just gossip. Tony's been saying it with her chest, no hesitation, no sugarcoating. She dropped a chilling line, do the math. Because if Diddy's deep in this and Busta Rhymes has been tight with him for years, then yeah, those dots. They're starting to connect on their own. And what's starting to form is a picture that's a lot messier and more revealing than anyone expected.
For Bad Boy, who've now departed, gays who were in Bad Boy, who have in fact told that he likes women, so he would have, in fact have to be bisexual. I've heard Sean Combs is in fact bisexual.
And that so-called support. It's starting to look real different now, because Tony didn't stop at Diddy. She also claims she had a one-night encounter with none other than LL Cool J, back when she was working the streets of New York City. According to her, LL knew exactly who she was. No confusion, no mystery. He paid for the night, did what he came to do, and kept it moving. No shame, no hesitation, just business. But the second Tony started speaking publicly, LL's team allegedly went into full-blown damage control. She says they fired off cease and desist letters to her management, warning her to keep quiet or face legal consequences. In her words, they were desperate to scrub his name from the narrative. But now that the truth is starting to surface, those legal threats, they're only making people ask more
and I
questions.
think that people don't keep in mind the effect of what their opinion can have. And I think it's really, really important that we reserve our opinions until we understand what the undisputed truth is, because an opinion can detrimentally affect someone.
And here's where things get even messier. According to Tony, both Diddy and Busta Rhymes allegedly tried to silence her once she began speaking out about what she had seen and experienced firsthand. This industry doesn't just protect secrets, buries them. Remember when the Cassie Hotel video surfaced? Reports claimed Diddy paid $50,000 to the hotel staff to keep that footage hidden. So if they went that far to cover up that, imagine what else they've paid to erase. Tony also dropped another bomb. She said one of Biggie Smalls' closest friends was openly gay, but his identity was kept completely hidden, protected, covered up, just like everything else in this twisted industry.
Sent another cease and desist letter second time, Martin Sr., on behalf of LL Cool J, to my whole team again after I did the New York interview.
And when you stack all of this with what Nicki Minaj once hinted at, yeah, it hits completely different now. Because let's not forget, Nicki once said there are a lot of undercover brothers in the industry. And no, she wasn't talking about guys hiding drug deals or street beefs. She was talking about men hiding the fact that they're into other men. The way she said it, calm, calculated, like she knew exactly what she was implying, but couldn't say it outright. Back then, it felt like a bold comment. Now, with everything coming to light, it feels like a warning we all ignored.
I understand his entourage of Biggie Smalls had a gay guy, Mr. C's evidently a bisexual producer. Lord knows who else he might have had in that entourage.
Now let's circle back to these infamous parties, because word on the street is, Busta Rhymes wasn't just showing up, he was allegedly hosting them on the regular. And according to multiple sources, including insiders deeply connected to those circles, Busta had a very specific type he was bringing in. And no, it wasn't bottle girls or Instagram models, it was young men. One person who confirmed this publicly, Big Homie Double C, a man who used to move in tight industry security circles. He's seen everything, and he didn't mince words. He said, point blank, Busta made unusual requests at the club, not for drinks, not for dancers, but for young men to be escorted into his VIP section.
Do you think it's a lot of undercover brothers in the industry?
Oh no, Queen. We don't know nothing about undercovers. Oh no.
Suddenly, all those rumors about Busta allegedly sharing his fanboys with Diddy, they start to sound a whole lot more believable. Because according to insiders, these weren't just random party guests. They were handpicked, gift-wrapped, and passed around like party favors, all behind closed doors. And that brings us to a name that's been floating in the shadows of Hollywood gossip for years. Orlando Brown. Now hold up, let's slow this part down. Yes, Orlando has said some wild things over the years. Chaotic, messy, up, unhinged at times. But here's the thing. He's never been wrong about the energy in the room. Say what you want about Orlando, but when it comes to calling out what happens behind the scenes, he's often ahead of the curve. And years ago, he dropped a bomb, claiming he had a sexual encounter with Busta Rhymes. Yeah, he said that, and now, with everything else surfacing, that old clip is making the rounds again, and people are watching it with new eyes.
That's my thing, bro. Like, this been common knowledge, though. Like, all my promoter homies would always say, man, you know, we gotta bring some, we gotta bring some, what they call them, I'm not gonna say it over here. They call them, fun boys. They'll say, we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta.
Back then, people laughed it off. Oh, he's just spiraling again. Clout chasing. That's what they said about Orlando. But now, with escorts coming forward, leaked videos hitting the internet, and major industry names being exposed left and right, suddenly, Orlando Brown doesn't sound so crazy anymore. Here's what people are starting to believe. Orlando may have been one of the so-called fanboys invited to these secret parties, allegedly brought in by Diddy, passed around, and eventually handed off to others in the room, including Busta Rhymes. And based on what Orlando's been saying for years, the puzzle pieces are starting to fit. Over the years, Orlando didn't just hint at a one-night hookup. He's alluded to being used, pimped out, and exposed to some of the darkest sides of the industry. And if even a fraction of that is true, it paints a seriously disturbing picture. But here's where things take a sharp turn. For someone allegedly involved in all this behind closed doors, Busta Rhymes has always been extremely loud when it comes to shutting down conversations about sexuality. You know what I mean? Let's rewind to 2006. Busta was accused of hurling a homophobic slur at a male fan in a bar. Then, just a year later in 2007, during a radio interview, he stormed out when the host brought up homophobia in hip-hop. No debate, no pushback, just got up and left. That kind of extreme reaction had people raising eyebrows even back then. But now, with everything coming to light, those moments are being viewed through a whole new lens. Because when someone reacts that strongly to a simple question, it stops looking like discomfort and starts looking like defensiveness. Especially when you've got video evidence, witness accounts, and testimonies stacking up the way they are now.
We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes.
You just told me you seen Busta in the airport too.
Look, whatever a man does in his personal life, that's his business. But when those private choices start crossing into exploitative territory, and footage starts leaking, that's a whole different story. And believe it or not, the tapes, they might already be out there. Rumors have been swirling for a while now that footage from Diddy's infamous freak-off parties has been circulating on the dark web, and allegedly, these aren't just blurry phone videos. We're talking high-profile guests, major artists, and extremely compromising situations caught on camera. And guess who people think has a copy? 50 Cent. Yeah, word on the street is 50 may have gotten his hands on some of those tapes. And if the rumors are true, he's not just sitting on them for drama, he's waiting for the right moment, because don't forget, 50 Cent is producing an entire documentary series called Diddy Do It. Insiders say he's already locked in a deal with Netflix, and the timing of the release, it's no accident. Sources close to the situation claim the documentary is being strategically scheduled to drop right after Diddy's trial wraps up, and if that's true, this might be one of the most explosive exposes in music history.
You know, whatever that man does in his personal space is that man's choice, and it's that man's business.
Look, whatever a man does in his personal life, that's his business. But when those private choices start crossing into exploitative territory, and footage starts leaking, that's a whole different story. And believe it or not, the tapes, they might already be out there. Rumors have been swirling for a while now that footage from Diddy's infamous freak-off parties has been circulating on the dark web, and allegedly these aren't just blurry phone videos. We're talking high-profile guests, major artists, and extremely compromising situations caught on camera. And guess who people think has a copy? 50 Cent. Yeah, word on the street is 50 may have gotten his hands on some of those tapes. And if the rumors are true, he's not just sitting on them for drama, he's waiting for the right moment, because don't forget, 50 Cent is producing an entire documentary series called Diddy Do It. Insiders say he's already locked in a deal with Netflix, and the timing of the release, it's no accident. Sources close to the situation claim the documentary is being strategically scheduled to drop right after Diddy's trial wraps up, and if that's true, This might be one of the most explosive exposes in music history.
And in particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It.
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
There's another clip making the rounds, one from one of Diddy's infamous star-studded parties. And yes, you can clearly see the faces of the guests. Now hold up, if those tapes are part of the official evidence or even included in that rumored documentary, it would explain a lot. Like why certain people have suddenly gone silent and why others are scrambling behind the scenes. Speaking of footage, let's talk about that viral clip featuring Busta Rhymes, Diddy, and Coi Leray, all in the same room. At first glance, it looked like just another casual industry dinner. But then Busta gives Diddy that little shoulder tap, you know the one. Fans caught the vibe instantly. Busta was posted up right behind Coi. Diddy was grinning a little too hard, and Coi, she looked visibly uncomfortable. It wasn't just the body language, it was the timing, the energy, the way Busta nudged Diddy like he was passing her off. That's when the accusations started flying. With fans saying Busta allegedly tried to pimp out Coi the same way insiders claim he used to hand off those young fanboys to Diddy back in the club days. And, unfortunately, that's not the only clip raising eyebrows. Busta's old interaction with Jeremy has resurfaced again. In the video, Busta tries to come off as playful, but Jeremy clearly looks uncomfortable. At one point, Busta even leans in and sniffs him, and you can literally see Jeremy awkwardly trying to laugh it off. Some fans brushed it off as just Busta being goofy. But with everything coming out now, it doesn't feel so harmless anymore. And here's the kicker, it's been weeks since Diddy's legal drama officially hit the courts. And guess who's gone completely silent? Busta Rhymes. No interviews. No statements. No social media, nothing. Allegedly, that's because he's terrified of being subpoenaed. Sources close to the situation say Busta is laying low right now, avoiding the spotlight and hoping his name doesn't come up in court. Meanwhile, 50 Cent, he's still clowning the entire case like it's a season of Law & Order, hip-hop, unit. From fans showing up in free puffy shirts to AI edits of Diddy on the stand, 50 is having a field day. And don't forget, he's still teasing that upcoming documentary. Did he do it? Yeah, He's not letting this go anytime soon, so now all we can do is wait. Wait to see how deep this thing goes. Wait to see who else gets named. And most importantly, wait to see how many more tapes are out there. Tapes the public still hasn't seen. But I want to hear from you. Do you think there's more to the relationship between Busta Rhymes and Diddy than they're letting on? Are there more tapes hidden away? And who do you think 50 Cent is planning to expose next in that documentary? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you're following the tea. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next video on your end screen, it goes even deeper.